So the Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation released a statement last week reminding members of the public that feeding homeless people on the streets is strictly prohibited and must cease with immediate effect. I didn't know that. Is this a good move? Well, to share their views on the topic, we've got on the phone the General Secretary of the Jamaica Council of Churches, Reverend Gary Harriet. Morning, Reverend.
Good morning, Neville. How are you?
I'm well, sir. Give thanks. And here in studio, HR and Communications Officer for Feeding of the 5,000 Outreach Foundation, Okello Salter. Morning, Okello.
Let me take a moment as well to say good morning, Reverend, and good morning, Okello.
Yep. Okello, let me start with you. The Feeding of the 5,000, where did that come from and what format did it take originally?
All right, the Feeding of the 5,000 started back in 2014, where our founder, Jordan Bennett, initially had his birthday celebration, decided that he wanted to give back. So they started to, provide food for persons who are less fortunate at the time. He then decided that, he was starting to get sponsors in it. He surpassed and has went overboard and has started doing it as we do get sponsors in. We try our best to get as much sponsors as we can, and we do our annual treat every Christmas.
And that treat is what? You see someone on the street and you just stop and give them food, or do they come to one area? How did you do it?
What we do is that we organize a team, we go out there, we set our teams in groups. So this group will go on King Street, and then we will always have, most time we do have police officers that goes along with us. So we go there and we have them gathered and we have them lined up and we share the food to them.
Okay. Great job. Say hi to Jordan. I know Jordan well. He's Talk Up Youth affiliate. You understand? So we know no work, and you've been doing a great job. Let's go to Reverend. Reverend, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Sir Harriet, Rev Harriet, let me help the viewers to understand from what you've interpreted that the KSAMC is saying. Because you also feed the homeless, correct?
Right. A number of our churches do. And we affirm the acts of neighborliness of organizations like Feeding of the 5,000 and the churches and individuals who provide meals for people who are on the street and other care packages. We are mindful, though, of the implications for health, wellness, and the environment resulting from feeding persons actually on the streets or in parks, etc. And so we would affirm an action that would affirm the dignity of the people and attend to their health and wellness and ensure that the environment is cared for and protected. And so we interpret the call from the municipality as not discouraging the feeding of persons on the street, but doing it in an environment that is conducive for hygiene, their well-being, etc. And so yes, we would stand with any such direction that would affirm the dignity of our people and treating them in the best way possible.
Reverend, does that mean you would have to pick up homeless people and take them to a specific location? How would it work?
Well, presently, I'm aware of a number of places where persons on the street go for meals, and they have access to bathroom facilities and so forth. And I don't have the details from the municipality, but my understanding is that they would be prepared to support getting people to these designated locations.
Unfortunately, some of these folks are also mentally ill. How would you get that organized, and how would they know exactly where to go, what time to go, stuff like that?
Well, as far as I know some of those persons would also benefit from the healthcare system, and so it is going to mean coordination with various stakeholders and entities, just to ensure that the best possible care is available for our brothers and sisters who live on the street.
I mean, I understand what the KSAMC is saying, Rev Harriet and Okello. So the question now is, what do you plan to do? Because obviously you have to have some kind of governance and order. And we understand that sometimes when we deliver the food, all of us who've been down and working with people, that sometimes it ends up in our downtown waters, the boxes, things like that. So we have to understand that there are the other effects or when we go out and do that. What can you do now with what the governance group is saying. What do you plan to do with that?
While the feeding of the 5,000 is left between agreeing and disagreeing with KSAC.
But why you disagree?
We do believe that it's a good initiative because at the end of the day, you know, this will open the eyes of KSAC to really expanding their facility to really, you know, taking in the homeless in better facilities. Because for one, the facilities that they are offering us to feed the homeless, the amount of homeless that you see in downtown Kingston alone, those facilities really can't hold all those persons.
So many people are homeless?
Yeah, you have quite, because we give around like 500 lunches at Christmas season, and sometimes we do have more persons other than that. While we agree on it, what about the persons who are, you do have crippled, you do have bedridden ones down there. What about those persons? Will KSAC put in transportation, you know, ideas? What will they do?
So it's going to have to be a collaborative effort.
A collaborative effort between KSAC and the stakeholders.
And let's go into the churches. Rev Harriet, you have a bunch of churches downtown. One every block.
Right.
So how can we coordinate the effort?
Right. So I know, and there are some other churches down there who provide feeding programs as well. So I think it is going to be important. There are ministers fraternals around, so it is going to be important maybe to contact ministers fraternals and to see what the best way possible in terms of facilities that churches have and how to really care for our people in a situation where it affirms their personhood. And maybe other organizations need to come on board as well to support the effort so that persons who need help to get to these places can be facilitated.
Reverend, do we try to get them off the street, or do we just accept that they're going to be there, so let's just feed them there? I mean,
that's a deeper issue that I really have a concern to for Neville. I know that in some situations there are efforts to create opportunities for people's empowerment, because there are various reasons why people are on the street. And so some people with the right intervention can get themselves together, take care of themselves, and do not have to be on the street. Okay. But it needs a greater, a more significant approach and strategy to create that environment and to empower those persons so that they can take their lives back in their hands.
Did the parish council reach out to you guys? I'll ask you first, Reverend. Did the parish council reach out to you to see, try to get a handle on this?
Not to us as a council. I'm not too sure if they have spoken with any of the local congregations engaged in feeding persons on the street.
You know, it's funny because even though we're trying to put some order to the feeding of the homeless, I don't know, like as a citizen, I don't know if you ever, but I've stopped and given somebody a meal. What are we saying? Is there something wrong with that? I mean, if you see somebody that's sitting there hungry, how can you not give them something if you can? And that's where I'm confused about not feeding them or carrying them somewhere. Like, it's impossible unless the government, the KSAMC, puts a shelter in place where they can sleep, bathe, and eat. We're going to continue feeding them. That's kind of where my head is at. I don't see an outcome immediately. I guess it's a start to a conversation.
What you going to do?
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Most definitely, we will work with KSAMC and in trying our best to, you know, to really get these homeless, feed them at the designated areas. But they are, for sure, as you had said, there are persons who do stop by and give lunches to these homeless persons.
Sorry, there is a designated area?
Well, KSM,
yeah, we did spoke with them.
Where
I did contact with them. They said that they have churches. They have Maria Atkins night shelters, and they do outline a list of.
When are you going to do your next?
Our next feeding is up on we're not sure, because as I said to you before, we do it as our sponsors coming, but we do have an annual feeding at every end of every year at December.
All right. Thanks for coming. Reverend, thanks a lot.
You're most welcome.
All right. Now
open up the church doors, Rev. Sorry, I had to say that.
Sure, we're doing that.
But we contacted reps from the KSAMC, and they actually declined our invitation to be interviewed. Heard from the General Secretary of the Jamaica Council of Churches, Reverend Gary Harriet, and HR and Communications Officer for the Feeding of the 5,000 Outreach Foundation, Okello Salter.
All right. Public can contact KSAMC's Poor Relief Department 65 Hanover Street, 922-6936-7 if you want more information. All right, call them.
All right, what's wattle? Well, you're going to find out when we talk about preserving our heritage after the break.